Great morning, great morning, great morning. You guys come on in, come on in. Come on in. Where y'all at though? Where y'all at though? Great morning, great. All right, all right, all right.
Tonight we're going to the movie.
I was thinking about that. Do it have to be tonight? Can we go today?
Okay.
I mean, we can go tonight, but I was really thinking, I really wanted to go to the movies today. Okay. Great morning, you guys. Great morning, great morning, great morning. Come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in. Great day, you guys. What an amazing day it is. Hey, Jackie. Oh, listen, y'all, let me go on and share. You guys, when you come in, go ahead and share. Go on and share. I'm going to do the same thing. Let me share. Oh, this battery low. Let me see. Come on in. Come on in. So let me get there. All right. Let me share. Share, share, share. All right. I have now officially shared. Let me turn on my do not disturb. Bam. Great morning, Summerlin. How are you, beautiful? Let me plug up this other phone. Hey, Jay. How my baby? Hey, Mike. Welcome to my folks on Instagram, the I to the G. I love you too, Jaylene. Let me plug up this phone, y'all. Great morning, everybody. Great morning, great morning, great morning. Listen, y'all. Baby, I'm so excited about what God is doing. Great morning, baby. 36 degrees outside. My baby went for his walk today. I'm so proud of him. Y'all go ahead and share, and we're going to get ready to go on and get into this message. Oh, my goodness. So y'all know, before we get started, I'm going to talk about what? Alive. Listen, Alive is an incredible liquid supplement. It's a proprietary liquid superfood. It helps with metabolism, supports your blood sugar, balances your hormones, increases energy, decreases appetite, enhances mood and libido. Right? And it also promotes weight management. Y'all, what I'll tell you is it gives you energy, clarity, and focus. Alive Apple Beach Cherry, or Alive ABC as we call it, does those things, and the added benefit of beet juice and cherry juice gives you some additional heart health support. Look up beet juice and cherry juice and see what the benefits are of them, okay? So, y'all, I'm getting ready to get started. Y'all know how we do. Shot, 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 shot. Everybody shake, shake, shake. Shake the devil off. Shake, shake, shake. Shake the devil off. ABC is easy as 1, 2, 3. I'm telling you, do, re, mi, ABC, 1, 2, 3, alive. It's you and me. Mwah, 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 mwah. So I'm getting ready to pop open a new bottle. Hey, Christina. Let me open it up. Y'all know what we do. We shake it up. Open it up, pour it up, woo, and drink it up. Here's to a heart check. Y'all, that's good. It's real good. Pour my baby up. And let's go. All right. So check this out. It's time for a heart check. This morning, great morning, Christina. Great morning, Phoenicia. My baby said him feeling better. Yes, him is. So look, this morning, I had the honor and privilege of speaking on 40 Days in His Face, right? And it was talking about guarding the gates, guarding your gates, guarding the gates of your life, personal, physical, emotional, spiritual, ministry, like guarding the gates, guarding the gates. Let me let my baby take his shot. Look at that. Why are you making that face?
You did it 40 days and you didn't wake me up?
Babe, it's okay. It's recorded. It's recorded. You needed to sleep. You needed to sleep. Anyway, y'all. He's so silly. He is so silly. You take another shot, honey. Look, so I did the 40 days and I talked about guarding the gates. And one of the things that it did for me was it made me, first of all, I didn't know what I was saying. I didn't know what I was going to say. God just started talking and I had to be quiet. I said, Lord, I don't know what you're saying because listen, I don't know what you finna say. But he said something. And so I want to share with you a little bit of what he said, something that he said that really stood out to me because I think it's important for us to check our hearts. It's important to check our hearts. Now, listen. Now, normally we think about our heart, we think about that thing that's beating inside of our chest. And that's not what we're talking about. And the Bible, when it talks about the heart, is talking about the mind, heart, mind, heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, hear mind, the mouth speaks, right? So whatever in your heart, hear mind, is going to come out your mouth. In other words, you may think some things and you may think nobody knows, but the fact of the matter is it will eventually come out of your mouth because what's in your heart comes out your mouth, okay? So it's time for a heart check. And this is the thing. We've got to really examine us. It's easy. It's so easy to look at other people and talk about what they need to do, talk about what they got going on. It's easy to identify problems in other people, and it's much more difficult to do so in ourselves. Angel number 122. Much more difficult in ourselves. It's much more difficult to identify what's going on in us than it is to identify what's going on in other people. And the fact of the matter is, listen, it's funner. If that's a word, it's funner to identify the stuff in other people than it is to identify the stuff in us. Because then we got to look at us. When you look at other people, oh, yeah, I'm finna help them. Oh, they finna be really helped by this. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. But when God tries to show you you, that becomes a greater challenge. One of the things I've had to learn is how to allow God to show me me. You know, you guys think that the prophetic drive-by is about y'all. This is about me. This is about God showing me me. This is about God using this platform to reveal me to me. Because sometimes I don't know until stuff comes out of my mouth and I hear it. I'm like, ooh, yeah. Okay, God. So he talks to me, right? We have to examine our heart and what we're thinking, what our mind is fixed on. Because if we don't examine what our mind is fixed on, we're going to find ourselves moving mindlessly. That's without thought. We're going to move mindlessly. And it's going to produce things in our lives that we do not desire to have in our lives, but it requires another level of accountability on us to examine our heart, mind. Okay. So, I was talking and I began to talk about the saboteurs. You guys hear me talking about the saboteurs a lot, right? And I talked about one. I just talked about one saboteur. I talked about one, just one. I talked about one. And when I was talking about that one, I just began to relate it to how it negatively impacts our heart, mind. Okay. So I was talking about the pleaser. And I was talking about how the pleaser just seems to deceive us. It's very deceptive. The deceiver tries to come across as just helpful, just want to help everybody. But there's more to it. And I found myself, even as I was doing the message, about to fall into the pleaser. The pleaser was about to come on up. It was about to come on up. And God said, check. And I said, mate, you will not be coming up today. So let me go on and I'm going to share some things with you guys. So just stay with me. First of all, one of the things about the pleaser is the pleaser, I told you the pleaser is deceptive, right? But wait, there's more. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Now it went behind everything. Oh, there it is. Okay. So when you're dealing with the pleaser, some characteristics of the pleaser are this. The description is the indirect attempt to gain acceptance and affection by helping, pleasing, rescuing, or flattering others. Loses sight of own needs and becomes resentful as a result. So the pleaser don't want to say what they want and what they need. They just get resentful. They try to do all this other stuff to get people to do what they want them to do without just asking them for what they want them to do, right? Characteristics of the pleaser: has a strong need to be liked and attempts to earn it by helping, pleasing, rescuing, or flattering other people. Needs frequent reassurance of the acceptance and affection of others. Can express own needs openly and directly, does so indirectly by making people feel obligated to reciprocate. The thoughts of a pleaser, and I'm going to come back to those characteristics in a little bit. The thoughts of a pleaser: to be a good person, I should put the needs of others ahead of my own. It bothers me when people don't notice or care about what I have done for them. They can be so selfish and ungrateful. I give away too much and don't think of myself enough. I can make anyone like me. If I don't rescue people, who will? The feelings of a pleaser: expressing own needs directly feels selfish. Worried that insisting on own needs may drive others away. Resents being taken for granted but has difficulty expressing it. The justification lies. The justification what? Type it in the chat. The justification what? I need y'all to type it in the chat. The justification what? What are these that I'm getting ready to read to you? Justification what? I'm going to wait for you. Lies. Lies. They're lies. These are justification lies. Lies that we use to justify our behavior. Lies that we use to justify what we're doing, right? They're lies. All caps and bold, okay? I don't do this for myself. Lies. Angel number 133. There's something you're getting out of it. When you're a pleaser, when you do stuff, there's something you're getting out of it. If the only thing that you get out of it is you feel good because you did something to help someone, and so now you feel good. But listen, check this out. There's an expectation that something's going to come behind it. May not be from that person, right? Justification lies. I help others selflessly and don't expect anything in return. If you do it selflessly, it shouldn't be a problem if they don't do it for you. It shouldn't be a problem if they don't do what you want them to do. It shouldn't be a problem. Justification, lies. The world would be a better place if everyone did the same. Lies. And more lies. Because then everybody would be operating from this pleaser personality, and then no one would openly say what they want and what they need, and everybody would be passive aggressive, operating from that place. Lies. Now, what's the impact on self and others? Because this is what you got to know. That saboteur affects you, but it doesn't just affect you. It affects other people as well. Can jeopardize taking care of one's own needs, whether emotional, physical, or financial. So you trying to be a pleaser and you're not getting your needs met. You trying to take care of somebody else and your financial needs can't be met because you don't have the money because you're taking care of somebody else. You're trying to keep someone else from feeling hurt, but in the meantime, you're hurting. Yes, Kathy, lies. It can lead to resentment and burnout. So instead of simply saying what you need and giving people the option of giving it, not doing, or not giving it, and you making a decision based on that, you just want them to do what you want them to do, and you're going to do enough so that eventually they're just going to do what you want them to do. It doesn't work like that. And you're going to be mad and resentful. Now you mad and bitter and passive aggressive. We've got to check ourselves. We've got to watch ourselves. The other thing that it can do is it can cause others to develop dependence rather than learn to take care of themselves and feel obligated, guilty, or manipulated. Lies. Yes, Tasha, lies. So this is how it affects people. So I began to think about this, right? Talking about my life, right? I began to think about this. And what happened is because I was operating from this pleaser place, I produced some things in my children that led to them being pleasers, that led to them being hyperachievers, that led to them doing all this stuff to try to earn my love, right? I'm not knowing that that's what's going on, but the pleaser did that. Well, guess what? The pleaser came from childhood trauma. What childhood trauma? Not feeling loved, not feeling good enough, not feeling accepted. If you experience those feelings as a child, you may often develop a pleaser saboteur, and it will sabotage you. It'll sabotage everything in your life, your relationships with everybody, right? It sabotages your relationships. It will sabotage not only your relationships, but your business, your jobs, your ministry, your relationship with God. It's going to sabotage everything. Why? Because it's trying to manipulate people into doing what you want them to do. Tasha said, and do and did. Listen, you've got to understand that when you are looking at you, when you're holding up that mirror, look, I ain't talking about nobody else. Listen, I'm talking about when I held up the mirror to my face and I looked at my life and I looked at me and I said, well, wait, what's going on? What's going on? And look, God began to speak to me and he said, look, let me tell you something. You are crippling people in your life. You're crippling people that are connected to you in ministry, your children, your spouse. You're crippling people. You're crippling them, trying to just be a pleaser, right? Trying to make people love and appreciate. If people don't love and appreciate you, if their love and appreciation of you is rooted in you got to do this, that ain't love. Love is unconditional. Love is unconditional. So what I did was I realized I had crippled those that I loved and made them dependent on me. And I began to take the place of God in their life. I began to take the place of God. So I had to move out of God's way, which was perceived as selfish. It's real selfish of you to get to not do this or not do that. It's real selfish of you. What kind of parent? What kind of mother? Right? But what I knew is if I kept doing what I was doing, people were going to always be relying on me and not relying on God. Even though I knew it, I had to do something about it. And that meant I had to move. I had to stop solving their problems. I had to do that. And then guess what? I had to allow whether or not they loved me for real to be based on not what I did for them, but who I was in their life. If you don't love me because I don't do what you want me to do, you didn't love me before. So now I got to do some soul searching and you got to do some soul searching. So we both are doing soul searching. And the thing that kept playing out in the scenarios was, am I going to allow the love of God to win or my pride to win? I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about my kids or nobody else that was involved. I'm talking about me. Me. Am I going to allow my pride to win? Or am I going to allow love to win? So I had to learn to deal with people differently. I had to learn to fall back. I had to learn to articulate what I would and wouldn't do, what was okay and wasn't okay when dealing with me. I had to articulate my needs. I couldn't wait for somebody else to say, oh, well, maybe she needs this. And so I couldn't wait for nobody to guess. I had to take responsibility for what I needed. And I had to request that at the risk of rejection. The problem is we don't want to be rejected. We don't want people to say no. We don't want them to disagree with us. We don't know what to do with that. But at the end of the day, every person has a free will. And if they're in a relationship with you and they don't have a free will and you are controlling them and you are manipulating them and you are doing these things, you can't tell what's love. And you got to examine your love. Y'all, this journey called life is not for the faint at heart. Those who have a weak heart. And when I say heart, I need you to hear mind. You've got to get to the point where you understand you. You dissect you. You get to the root of you. Because until you get to the root of you, it's easy for you to be toxic in an equation. You ain't trying to be toxic, but you are. You're doing what you know. And what you know isn't always what's right. And when I say right, I'm not gonna say right. What I'm gonna say is beneficial. Beneficial. Beneficial for you, for relationship, for growth, for love. So we have decisions to make. And many times what we choose to do is instead of looking in the mirror, we turn the mirror around on somebody else so they can see them. Now, look, I'm not saying I'm not guilty. Listen, I have been guilty. Believe me. And it probably won't be the last time I'll be guilty. Okay? But it's my job to continue to work on me, that I might become a better me, that I might become more like Christ, that I might become more like God, that I might become more of the person that I've already been created to be, that's already in me, but that has been covered up with layers and layers of hurt and disappointment and all of these things. I think God really started dealing with the pleaser in me, and really revealing it to me when I found out that my daddy who raised me was not my biological daddy. I may reference that a lot to you all, but that was a major deal in my life, right? So when I found that out, I had a lot of emotions, had a lot of feelings, but I'm glad I found out. And I'm glad I found out because I would have missed out on some major moments and some major things in my life now, and really understanding me. See, oh, let me put this up here too. I just helped my daddy, my biological daddy, finish his book. And one of the things that I realized as we were working on the book, and I realized how much like him I am, how many similarities. So for a long time, I was kind of like my daddy that raised me, but I'm much more like my biological father. And I remember when I found out, being like, what? And I remember calling my mama and asking her questions. And this is no slight on my mama. She was like 16 years old. And I remember me at 16. So, and I told her that the man who had raised me, that she said was my daddy, was not my daddy. And she said, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. She was adamant that he was my daddy. She was adamant about it. Okay, mama, he's not. The DNA says it. The Dana says it. The Dana says he is not the father. That's what the Dana says. So she stood on that for a while. And then she said, well, I don't know, because I thought he was your daddy. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. Listen. That thing hurt me. But I understand it. My biological father was in the military. He had gotten shipped off. They probably were together one time, right? So she's not thinking anything about that, okay? So she's thinking, well, oh, surely this is the father. Surely it is, right? Well, I remember my mama saying some things over time that made me wonder, is this really my daddy? Okay. There's so many ways that I don't fit into the family. He would always say, oh, you look like my sister that got burned up in the fire. Okay, yeah. My kids look like my cousins' kids. There were similarities, right? But there was something off. There was something off. So my mom had made a comment one time, well, so-and-so might be your daddy. There's options. Well, my thing was, I needed to know. I remember I think I turned 40. And this man that my mama had mentioned in passing might be my daddy, right? And I was connected to one of his nieces. And so I connected, she connected me, we talked, I went there, I met them, and we did a DNA test. The DNA test came back and they were negative. Now, my father who raised me was very upset that I got a DNA test done. He got very upset. He was very like, I told you, I don't even know why you would do that. I'm your daddy. You know, you look just like my sister. Da 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 da. So I said, okay, daddy. I said, okay, daddy. I'm sorry. It hurt his feelings, right? Because all this time he had raised me as his daughter. And I was, in fact, his only biological daughter, right? His only biological child. So we go on. My daddy end up going to get him and moving him to Florida. He gets sick and he dies. It gave us a chance to spend time together. He got time to spend with the kids, the grandkids. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I was there. And had he been where he lived, I probably would not have been able to be there, right? So we got that time. We got to resolve anything that needed to be resolved, and he transitioned. I want y'all to stay with me because I'm going somewhere. Somebody type in the comments, we going somewhere, we going somewhere, we going somewhere. I need y'all to hear me, right? So he died the end of September. In December, a friend of mine, an ex-boyfriend, and his cousin had called me because, you know, they had been doing ancestry DNA. He was in charge of the family tree for their family. And they all did their DNA, the ancestry DNA kits, and his wasn't showing up, connected to his siblings, to his father, to his cousins. And he realized that the man who had raised him all his life wasn't his daddy. Now, this was before it happened to me, okay? So we're talking about it, and they said, oh, you need to do ancestry DNA. I said, well, you know, I want to do it because I want to know who I'm from, what tribe of people I'm from, what country am I from in the continent of Africa? Where are my people? That's right, Apostle Alicia. We going somewhere. Where are my people? I need to know my people. I need to know my people. But there was something inside of me. There's something inside so strong that said, this might be some ish. This might be some ish. I said, I don't know, y'all. I don't know, because this might be some ish. And I ain't got time for it. I ain't got time for it. Well, I did it anyway. Caught it on sale. I did it. Angel number 155. I did it. And the results came back in January. And I saw my cousins on there. One of my cousins were double first cousins. We were double first cousins because his mama and my mama were sisters, and his daddy and my daddy were brothers. Okay, so we were double first cousins. But he wasn't showing up. That we should have shown up really high, okay, and shared DNA. We wasn't showing up high. Not only that, there was somebody on the tree that I did not know, and they were showing up as a close relative. Close relative. I said, okay, what's going on? Something is going on. So I began to just look, right? So I took the cousin that I knew we were supposed to be double first cousins on our daddy's side and our mama's side, right? So I looked at them and I looked at the people that we were connected to. So I took the person who showed up mysteriously. I said, well, maybe my daddy that raised me had another child somewhere, right? So I looked to see if she and I shared that particular cousin. We didn't. It didn't. And there were all of these close cousins. I'm talking about second cousins, you know, that were showing up that I'm like, who this? Harper, who this on my ancestry tree? So I realized that he wasn't my daddy. It opened up a whole can of worms, and folks were upset and all this. And why you putting mama on blast? And, you know, listen, y'all, the best thing that could have happened for me was that ancestry DNA test. Because when I tell you, when I connected with my biological father, I made sense to me. And it removed some confusion. It removed some, like, the man is so much like me. It's crazy. We're so much alike. Like, I'm telling you, when he talks, our first conversation, I was like, why are you saying exactly what I say, right? And that's listen, y'all, we underestimate the role of genetics. I'd never been around him, but we said the same stuff. I'd never been around him, but we had the same characteristics. I'd never been around him, but we had the same personality. I'd never been around him, but we even had some of the same issues. I'd never been around him, so I couldn't pick it up from him. I'd never been around him, but when I go to sleep, I lay in the bed and I rub my feet. I rub my feet. My daddy rubs his feet. Now, that seems like a small thing, right? But I didn't learn it from it. I didn't get it from being around him. I've been doing this all my life. Look, this thing is so strong. Listen, my daughter My son was playing a joke on me yesterday. He was pranking me, right? I didn't know it was a prank. My daughter said, Mom, I got something to tell you. And I said, what? She said, well, maybe it'll be better if I show you. What? So she goes in the house and she shows me this little boy. And I'm looking. And then my son gets on the camera. Hey, Mom. And I'm look. Whose child is it? Whose child is that? He points to the baby's head, right? The baby got his hairline. I said, the baby got his BDBs. I said, stop playing, stop playing, stop playing. Whose child is that? That's your grandson. That's my what? That's my what? That's your grandson. How old is he? He said he's 2. Who his mama is? I ain't gonna lie, you don't know her. Well, listen, I need to figure some stuff out. I said, Adam, stop playing. Stop playing. Whose child is that? He showed me the hairline. I promise you it was his hairline, and showed me the B2Bs, and his B2Bs was just like that. I said, and the baby, he said, wave at your big mama. And the little boy just waved. Just, I said, hey, hey, hey. My daughter and I said the exact same things in the exact same sequence. She had said it first. She went through it first. When I went through it, I said the exact same things in the exact same sequence. Why? Our hearts are alike. Translation, our minds. We think alike. So I understand her. I understand her. I get it, right? So I'm telling you, the Dana is powerful, okay? Well, it wasn't his little boy, but it was his best friend's son, and him and his best friend look like brothers. Okay. But if it had been his son, I was getting ready to embrace that baby, and he would have been as much my grandbaby as any of the ones that I've known from the time that they were in their mother's wombs. You understand? Because I know what that looks like and feels like. Well, listen, I know what it feels like, right? I wouldn't have condemned the mama because it happens, okay? But it was important for me to meet my daddy because my daddy made me make sense. And it completed some things about me that were confusing to me. It also helped me to heal some wounds that were negatively impacting my relationships with men. You see, there were things that I needed from my father that only my father could give me. My daddy who raised me did his best. He did the best that he could, but it was some disconnect. It just was some disconnect. But my biological father, the one who made me, he began to fill in the gaps and the holes. Remember, we're going somewhere. And I had to check my heart as it related to my mother. I had to check my heart because I felt a way about that. I felt a way. I had to check my heart, my mind, what I was thinking as it related to my siblings. And only one of them really reaching out to me during the process and really being there for me, concerned about me, right? Concerned about me. Everybody else was concerned about mama. Can somebody be concerned about me? Because I'm the one that got dropped. I'm the one whose world got flipped upside down. That was me, right? That was me. So I had to go through a process. But then I had to go through another process when it came to my biological siblings on my daddy's side. Because the pleaser in me, and the whole family, right? The pleaser in me wanted to be accepted, liked, and loved. So I wanted to be the good big sister. I wanted to be the good daughter. I wanted to be the good aunt, right? And not necessarily articulating my needs. There's nothing wrong with you having needs. First of all, give yourself permission to have needs. You have needs. And you have a right to articulate your needs. You have a right to articulate your needs, what you need, what you want, what you desire. You have a right to articulate it. What you can't do is make someone else give it to you. You can't make someone give it to you. And you can't assume that because they don't give it to you, that means that they don't love you. That's not the case. Because you have needs, they have needs, everybody got needs. So sometimes you got to just find a way to get your needs met in the middle. You have to figure that thing out. The pleaser gets resentful and bitter because they don't say what they need. What I'm telling you is don't be that. If anything I read you resonated with, deal with that and deal with where it came from. I understand where it came from. You know, I was raised by my grandparents. My parents didn't raise me. They were both in my life, but they didn't raise me. I felt a way that, you know, my siblings got raised by my mama and I didn't. I felt a way about that. I felt rejected. I felt abandoned, but I didn't have the whole story. See, that's the thing, especially in Black families, there's stories behind stuff, y'all. There's stories. We don't know the whole story. So we judge the situation based on what we've heard and what we remember without knowing the whole story. The whole story was that my grandparents told my mama, you can leave, but you're not taking that baby nowhere because you ain't stable. If you want to bounce from house to house, you bounce from house to house, but this baby is going to be right here. So they took me. They said, nope, she ain't going with you. She's going to be right here. So we know that she's stable. She's going to be right here where we know that she's got what she needs. No. You go do you. You go do you. And I'm going to keep this baby right here. Okay? So I'm thinking my mama just left me. Whole time she wanted to take me. But my grandparents kept me. Now, I'm grateful that my grandparents kept me because my life would have probably been very different if I had gone with my mama. Ooh, my sister said, how do you deal with the parents who just refuse to deal with the reality of truth? You can only deal with you. And that's the thing I had to come to learn and accept. I can only deal with me. If nobody else wanted to deal with the truth, that was on them. But I had to deal with the truth because it was my life and it was life or death. And what we don't understand is sometimes truth is truly the key to life or death. When I entered into the truth, see, the word of God says this, you will know the truth and the truth shall make you free. What happened was when I entered into the truth of who my biological father was, it began to unlock other truths in my life. It just did. It just did. It just did. It is what allowed me to be in a place where I could be found by my husband and receive him. Before that, it wouldn't have happened. And I remember, listen. So I could relate to Kirk Franklin. Now, Kirk Franklin, his mama said, you know, that man ain't your daddy. That man ain't your daddy. That man ain't your daddy. Well, when they did the Dana, with the Dana in front of her, she said that wasn't his daddy. That ain't your daddy. That's not your daddy. That is a deep delusion that is rooted in the fact that they don't want to deal with their life and their past. They don't want to deal with the reality that they slept with multiple people at the same time. Not at the same exact time, but during the same time period. They don't want to deal with it because it makes them feel like a hoe. And they don't want to look like a hoe to their kids. But the truth of the matter is the truth of the matter. Listen, my mama wasn't the first person that was sleeping with multiple people during the same time. She wasn't the first. She ain't the last. I've done it. So who am I to judge? But what we do is we want to avoid the truth because the truth threatens this character that we've created us to be. This image that we've created, this facade that we've created. The truth will tumble your facade. All of a sudden, it's like having a made up face, and then all of a sudden something happens and your makeup just begins to crack. So it was flawless. You talking about, I woke up like this, or you got these filters and this makeup, and suddenly people see you raw and naked, Tiny. And they say, because all they've seen is the image, the facade, without seeing the real person. What's underneath all of that? See, we don't want to get naked. We don't want to get naked. And I'm not talking about naked in the physical, but we don't want to allow all of that vulnerability to show up, because we don't want nobody to know that our feelings are hurt. We don't want nobody to know that when you did this, I felt this when you did. This is what I felt. It's my feeling. But when you did that, it triggered this in me. This is what came up for me. We don't want to allow people to see us vulnerable. So this is what God did to me. And I'm just talking about to me. He made me start doing these lives. And he told me a long time ago, your life is going to be on public display. Listen, this was before Facebook. This was before Instagram, before Twitter, now X, before TikTok, before Snapchat. He said, your life is going to be on public display. Thank you, Jennifer. Prophetess Tammy said, pride will make you cover up, and it does everything it needs to do to protect the image it creates. Absolutely. I'm telling you, one thing a lie will do is it will protect itself. A lie don't care who tell it, but it's going to protect itself. A lie is going to protect itself. Listen to me now. Right. We got to get naked. Angel number 166. Jennifer said, amen. The good, bad, and the ugly. Life on display. Absolutely. Someone said, I applaud you for wanting to know you. And God has truly been revealing you to you in all of the layers of your existence. He absolutely has. Some of it's pretty, some of it's not. But I got to deal with all of it. Nonetheless, I got to deal with all of it. Nonetheless, do you understand what I'm telling you? So God said that if we begin to deal with our heart, and we get our heart right, because really any emotion we have is tied to a thought. Emotions don't exist as emotions. They exist as a physiological response. Oh, let me get scientific on you real quick. Emotions don't exist as an emotion. They are a physiological response that we then put a thought to. And based on that thought, we call it a particular emotion. Prophet Tim said, that's the life of a seer. Listen now. Hey, Vanessa. Emotions are not an emotion. It is a physiological response to something that has transpired. Physiologically, your body responds to something. There's a book called The Body Keeps Score. Oh, your body remembers traumas and triggers, right? So really your body is your body. It's in your body. Something happens, it's implanted in your body. That memory, that feeling is implanted in your body. So what happens is when something similar happens, then it's activated, that physiological response occurs, and then your mind says, I feel this, I must feel this, right? Based on the context of the situation, based on the thoughts attached to it. Jennifer said, you right, Prophetess Tammy. Yes, I love you, girl. Listen, so check this out now, because I need y'all to understand that nothing in life is accidental. Nothing in life is accidental. God has purpose in everything that he does. Every single thing. We may think it's an accident. It's not an accident. We may think it's insignificant. It is not insignificant. God connects you with people for a reason. And the reason may not have been revealed yet, but there's a reason. Okay. So We talking about all of this that done went down. This your daddy over here. Well, now fast forward. Fast forward. I got to get my mind right. Because I want to be a good big sister. I'm the oldest. I want to be a good big sister. I want to make up for all the years I missed of being a sister. I get a chance to develop new sibling relationships. Maybe I can get these right and they'll be better than the ones that I didn't get right. Maybe I can create the relationships that I didn't have over here. The pleaser kicks in, goes to work. It don't go like that. Some like that, some like that, kind of like that. But I had to allow my siblings and the family to build their own relationships with me and me build my own relationship with them. I couldn't put it in a pressure cooker. I couldn't Instapot it. It just was going to take time. And we don't always like taking time, right? So in my heart, I felt, y'all see where I'm pointing, in my heart, I felt rejection from my sister because she needed a DNA test to prove that I was her sister, even though I had already, the niece, even though that was there, I need a DNA test, right? Felt rejection. Like, you don't want to be my sister, right? That's what it felt like to me. But the truth of the matter is she had to process it. Different people process things differently. I had time to process it. I had been looking at the results, looking for my family. I was looking for them. They weren't looking for me and didn't expect me. But it didn't mean that they wouldn't love me. It just meant they didn't know me. It took me a minute to really get that, right? And not take that as rejection. It wasn't rejection. It just was, people have had whole lives for 40 some 50 years. And then I'm dropped into their life. Even though we're blood, doesn't change the fact that we don't know each other. You understand? So the journey was necessary. So then, I just finished Daddy's book. It's up. Go order your copy. Get you a copy of the book. I need y'all to get copies. My goal is to take him to an Amazon #1 bestseller. And if y'all like this part of the story, you'll really love his story. I'm telling you, the book is amazing. And I'm not saying it because I helped him put it together, but the stories captivated me. Every story that he told me, I just found myself sitting there in awe that the man was still here. I couldn't believe he's still here. After all that he's gone through, I couldn't believe he was still here. After all that he went through in the Vietnam War, Angel number 166, I couldn't believe he was still here. After all of the decisions that he made, bad decisions that he had made, I couldn't believe he was still here. Yes. So, but what that did was brought it full circle. We have to understand that God gives us full circle moments for a reason. God gives us full circle moments for a reason. It's to close the circle. Full circle moments close that circle so that you can start another one. And I'm not talking about as a finite closure, right? So I want you to think about life like this. Like, you circle around, you hit that circle, you swivel, you create another circle. Circle around, you swivel, you create another circle. Like, it's all connected. It's all intertwined like DNA, but it's necessary. We got to check our heart, our mind. What are we thinking? And what is our focus? One of the things that I love about Daddy's book and his story in general is that God got him to a place where he could see himself differently. He could see himself in the stories, right? He could see himself because initially when he started writing, he was the victim in the story. He was the victim. Always the victim. By the time we finished it, he had grown and he had been able to see his part in everything and take ownership of it. If you never take ownership for your part in the things of your life, in relationships, and the things that have gone awry, if you never take your part, you never do it, you'll always be a victim. And I don't know about you, but God didn't make me a victim. He said that I'm victorious, that I'm the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. As we've been doing things with the book, it's brought stuff up again. Full circle. I told you, full circle. We're full circle. And the pleaser in me wants everybody to be happy, wants everybody to love the book, wants everybody to, feel a certain way. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Why? Because in the book, Daddy is telling how he felt. While he's taking responsibility for his stuff, he's also telling how he felt. And the truth is, people often don't want to know how you feel. They feel their feelings are more valid and valuable than yours. Everyone's feelings matter. So I try to take extra care. Extra care. Not to not tell the truth, but not to destroy people. Because sometimes the truth just hurts. And that's why we have to check our hearts. What are you thinking? Are you thinking about somebody else, or are you only thinking about you? And I found myself guilty in the past of, only thinking about me. I didn't realize I was only thinking about me because it's my world, right? But I was. We have to make some choices. It's time for us to do a heart check. Check your heart and see what's in it. Because you may not be pleased with what you see, but it's important for you to see it. And there's nothing wrong. Listen to me. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm sorry. I apologize for hurting you. There's nothing wrong with that. We need to normalize apologizing when people are hurt. You need to normalize that. Even if you don't understand why they're hurt, apologize. Angel number 177, the word of God says this: as much as it is possible within you to be at peace with all people, do that. As much as it's possible for you. I don't know about you, but I value my peace. But I won't have a false sense of peace because I refuse to deal with stuff and address it. I won't do it. I'm not built like that. I ain't got time for that. Because we're going somewhere. And where we're going requires us to check our heart. You all listen. I pray this word blessed you. I pray that you got something that you needed. Angel number 177. Let me go and look that up. I pray you got something out of it, but you didn't. But if you didn't, I said what God told me to say. Listen, I didn't say it to please you. I said it because it was what God said to say. And I refuse to be disobedient to God to please people. Angel number 177 is a powerful reminder that when we stay true to ourselves, use our creativity, and trust our intuition, anything is possible. Listen, if the word blessed you and you want to put a seed on it, you can do so at Cash App $DRV Johnson 777, Cash App $DRV Johnson 777. And I need you guys to go support my daddy. Purchase the book. Purchase the book. Please. I need you to purchase the book. Please. Can y'all do that for me? I would greatly appreciate it. Listen, sis, I got to. I can't do anything else. So you guys, look, have an absolutely amazing, incredible, and epic day. And know this. Know that I love you to life. And life more abundant. It's called The Silent Cry by Oscar Wiggins. This is let me put the link back up. It's The Silent Cry by Oscar Wiggins. It's the ebook. It's the ebook. We're trying to get it to Amazon #1 bestseller. It hit #1 new release in all three categories. But we want to take it all the way to the top. We want to take it all the way to the top. I want that to be my gift to him, is that we take it all the way to the top and he becomes an Amazon best-selling author at 77 years old. Come on, somebody. At 77. I want you to think about that. At 77, having fought in Vietnam, came back, been on drugs, made all kinds of bad decisions, tried to kill yourself multiple times, and just couldn't die. There's a story there. And so I'm grateful that I got to be a part of that story, and that's my daddy. I love my daddy. Okay. So look, you guys, it's The Silent Cry by Oscar Wiggins. The link is on my page. I've got plenty of posts on there with the book cover and the link. So go purchase the book. Have some friends purchase the book. If you know people who are children of Vietnam veterans, have them purchase the book. It's going to bless them. Angel number 177 is a powerful reminder that when we stay true to ourselves, use our creativity, and trust our intuition, anything is possible. That's the beauty of being made in the image and the likeness of God. That's the beauty of being God's hands and feet and mouthpiece on the earth. That's the beauty of having God DNA, is that he makes everything possible, anything possible. It doesn't matter if it looks impossible to people. He makes anything possible. So at 77, it looked impossible for my daddy to have a book. But not only is he going to have a book, his book is an Amazon #1 bestseller. I declare it in Jesus' name. That's going to cause him to travel around the world. Angel number 177. At 77, his life is just getting ready to take off. When we stay true to ourselves, use our creativity, walk in truth, everything, anything, and everything is absolutely possible. So, listen, I love you guys. To life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah.